Hey everyone, welcome back to MOVIEidol. So in this video, I want to talk about Negan and Beta because we actually got a scene. It's a sneak peek, I guess, for this Sunday's episode. This Sunday's episode, by the way, I do think is going to be a pretty big episode. Actually, I think it's going to be a pretty big day because I think we're going to get some Rick Grimes stuff. I'm going to make a video probably tomorrow on this, but Scott Gimple is on Talking Dead this Sunday, and I mean, he could just be there to talk about The Walking Dead, but I feel like he's there for a reason. I feel like he's there to talk about the Rick Grimes movie. I mean, the thing is, he's going to get asked that question. He's going to be asked, is there an update on the Rick Grimes movie? And if he just says what he's been saying all year, no, there's no update, there will be one soon, then yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he could say that. The thing is, he said like a month ago or something like that, that he hates that he has to keep saying this, but he promises there's going to be something very, very soon. He's going on Talking Dead. I don't know if it was voluntary or if he had to go and do it. It was likely voluntary. So I would imagine he's expecting the question. I think he's probably going to come up with an answer. I don't know what we're going to get. It's likely going to be a release date, I think. Maybe some casting news or something like that. I feel like that's going to be the update. It's not going to be anything too big. Trailers or anything like that. That's probably going to, I mean, obviously they haven't even filmed anything yet. All of that will probably come next year at Comic-Con or the year after, actually. Because if they're going to film next summer, maybe. That's the thing with this movie, that I think that's why everyone's getting so frustrated. We don't know anything. Like, when are they filming? What's the cast going to be like? Who's going to be the director and all of that? We have all of these questions for this movie. So, I mean, like, filming in a trailer, that is so far away. They'll probably do a little teaser next year, I would imagine, at Comic-Con, just like they did this year, just to remind people. Anyways, we'll go into that more in depth and we'll talk about stuff in a video probably tomorrow or sometime this week. But yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be something there with Scott Gimple this Sunday. Before we jump in, I should warn you for spoilers for last Sunday's episode. And also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this. I actually forgot to mention something in my review. Actually, I shouldn't say I forgot to mention. I didn't even know it when I did the review. But a lot of people are pointing out that there was actually an Emily Kinney, and I guess kind of Beta Easter egg, a big one in last Sunday's episode. Emily Kinney has a new song coming out. I think it's called The Turtle and the Monkey. The song was actually used in last Sunday's episode during a scene with Yumiko and Magna. Magna was listening to the record, but the vocals were actually different. I think it was Ryan Hurst singing instead. That's what everyone's saying right now. So yeah, it's kind of nice. There's all these little Easter eggs here, and I do think we're probably going to find that out obviously this season, right? That Beta was a celebrity, that he was actually a rock star or a country star or whatever. But in the sneak peek with Negan, we actually see Negan, and it's, I mean, if you've read this in the comic, it's practically the same thing. It's exciting. Like, Negan's going on and on about the Whisperer thing and how the best selling point is that you have all this protection from walkers, and he's rambling in the best ways that Negan does. And yeah, it's nice. We're getting classic Negan here. I mean, it's nice that he's out and doing stuff like this. I feel like it's the jacket. I don't know. For me, I feel like it's because he's wearing the jacket that is just giving me this vibe of classic Negan. And it is actually kind of interesting because we've never seen Negan like this. Like, we've never actually had him just himself, like a standalone character. Yeah, he's obviously a standalone character, but I mean, in terms of him being just himself, not a leader, not a prisoner, he's just a character out there surviving by himself right now. To see how this character wants to survive and to see how he acts in these vulnerable situations, it's just kind of fascinating because he's always been like a leader, obviously at the prison. When he was in that cell in Alexandria, he was just, I mean, he was there. We saw him, I guess, pretty vulnerable and freaking out in front of Maggie. No one's seen him like that, which is kind of interesting. Maggie's the only person who has seen Negan like that, which is why he's one of my favorite characters, because how do you go from this, where he's just talking shit and all that, to that, Or I guess vice versa, but you know what I mean? He's such a fascinating character, and he's hilarious. I think to see him at the Whisperer camp is going to be a lot of fun just because of that. I think he's the perfect character for comedic sake anyways to be with the Whisperers, because he's going to point out just how ridiculous it is, right? He probably won't come out and say how ridiculous it is, although he might. Him going on about how much he loves certain things that they do is kind of mocking them. That's why I love this scene so much. I think we're going to get a lot of that in this Sunday's episode, because the Negan and Beta relationship is very, very fascinating. Now, I don't know if it's going to be as powerful on the show as it is in the comic, because in the comic it was, and this will contain spoilers for the comics, major spoilers actually for the Whisperer War, but what happens in the comic is where Negan is at right now, what's going to happen in the next episode or two, or probably episode 7, I would imagine, maybe even at the end of 6. I actually don't think this is going to happen, but if you translated the comic to the show, this is like the timeline of when it would happen. But Negan would kill Alpha, like that's what would happen, and Beta knows he did, which is why this whole Negan and Beta thing, when the fight happens during the Whisperer War, is just so heated. There's so much emotion there because Beta's obviously really pissed off and all of that. I don't think it's going to happen like that on the show. I just don't. And so I think that the relationship that they have, I think it's going to be very different in that sense. Maybe Negan does eventually kill her or something like that. I don't know. I just don't see it being the same. I think they're still going to have all these hilarious lines. I still think they're going to have that same relationship, but it's never going to be as far. It'll never go to that extreme. What is going to be fun, though, and I'm really hoping it happens in this Sunday's episode, is Beta, Negan, Daryl, and Carol together in the same area. And by the way, that is probably something we're going to learn in this Sunday's episode, who released Negan, because it was brought up in episode 5. We still don't know who it is. I do think it was likely Carol. Maybe it was Aaron. People keep saying it was Father Gabriel. I don't think it was him, just because he was the one that went to go look for him, right? So yeah, I don't think it was him. It's either Carol or Aaron. And I say Aaron because obviously he had that, that episode where he saw a different side to Negan. So that's possible. Maybe that's why Aaron's out there with Gamma. I have no idea. There could be something there, right? But Carol is the most likely candidate, I would say, right now. Now, the question I have for you guys, and it's kind of the biggest question I think going on right now for The Walking Dead, is what is going to happen to Negan right now at the Whisperer camp? We only have really 2 options, I guess kind of 3, like he joins the Whisperers and he actually will be a part of the Whisperers. I don't think that's really an option. Angela Kang maybe has changed it up, but I just don't think so. I think it comes down to 2 options, which is 1, he's going to escape somehow in this Sunday's episode because of Carol and Daryl, or 2, he is going to kill Alpha. And because I just don't see that second option happening right away, because it's just so fast, I do think he's probably going to escape. It might be because of Daryl and Carol. I think because they're there, it's going to actually change what happens in the comics. It's kind of like the butterfly effect. Negan was there by himself, so I think that's why they didn't deal with anything. But I think because Carol and Daryl are there, it might actually screw something up. I am actually really curious to know if that scene between Negan and Alpha is going to happen in this Sunday's episode, where it's nighttime and they're just talking about stuff. Maybe it looks like Negan is about to cut her head off, but then all of a sudden Carol or Daryl shows up and then it just screws up the entire plan. It's sort of like an alternate universe, like this is what would happen if Alpha stayed alive, if she survived that night with Negan. And so because I'm like pretty confident that Alpha's going to survive, only because it would be so crazy for her to die right away. And that's really all I'm basing this off of, is like, I just feel like we just met the character. I know the Whisperer arc is going to be done this season, but I feel like it would be very fast for her to die off right away. But because of that, I think the Horde, the Walker Horde, could be unleashed earlier. I really do. Because I'm trying to see how everything's going to play out. I'm really trying to see how the Whisperer arc is going to play out. And it's hard because of what's happening in season 10. I mean, do they deal with the Whisperers as Michonne leaves? Is Michonne actually going to leave as they're dealing with that Horde? Because if you put what happens in the comics into this season, basically Alpha would die in the next couple of episodes. And then that Horde would be unleashed in the second half, and they would be dealing with that around episode, like, say, 11, 12, up to 14 or something like that. I guess there would be other little wars and stuff like that too, but that's basically what would happen. I think that the Horde that attacks Alexandria, that would come around episode 14 or 15. So it would be like somewhere around there. But because Michonne's leaving, I feel like it's going to happen sooner. And maybe it does. Maybe it happens in the mid-season finale. That is something that they deal with in episode 9 and 10. And then it just somehow sets up Michonne's departure. Like, maybe all the Commonwealth stuff happens much faster than we're thinking. Maybe the Whisperer arc doesn't extend all the way throughout all of season 10. Or maybe it's changed up a lot where the Horde happens first, but Alpha is still around for most of season 10. Michonne still leaves, but it's because the Walker Horde is dealt with and they're just dealing with other things with the Whisperers. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I don't know where everything's going to play out. She could change everything up. All I know is I don't think Alpha's dying. And like in this first half, I think obviously she's going to be a second half of the season death. And I don't know where this is going to go. This whole thing with Negan being at the Whisperer camp, I'm super excited for it right now. I'm actually really, really enjoying this season right now. But overall, that's kind of what to expect with this. I mean, it's going to be a hilarious episode. Alpha will kind of want to give Negan a chance. Beta's not going to want to, and there's going to be a lot of hilarious scenes. Negan does tell Beta to test him, and so that's why I think we see Beta and Negan out at nighttime. We're going to see how that dynamic works. It's going to be a big part of the episode. Carol and Daryl will be in the mix. How does that episode end? Does it end with maybe Alpha allows Negan to join? Does something happen there that's different from the comic? We'll know at the end of episode 6. Episode 6, episode 7, around there, we're going to know what's changed. We're going to know if Alpha's going to survive for a while or not. And yeah, overall, I'm super excited. I'm also really excited for potential Rick Grimes news. I really hope we get something like that, but we'll see. But let me know what you guys think. Post your thoughts down below on this Sunday's episode, or I guess your predictions for this Sunday's episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure to be a subscriber for more Walking Dead content like this, and thanks for watching.